Hello and welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm Cheri Duckworth, and joining me today is Mr. Steve Thompson. He is Assistant Program Director of Emergency Services for the Wilkinson Center, and Mr. Jerry Hawkins, who is the Director of Children's Services for the Wilkinson Center as well. Thank you both, gentlemen, for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
But to get started today, can you tell our viewers what is the Wilkinson Center and what do you do for the community?
Okay. The Wilkinson Center is an organization that helps people in Dallas to find pathways out of poverty. We do that with dignity and respect.
I like that, with dignity and respect. That's a wonderful way to state your mission. I love that, because we need to make sure that those folks that come in who are in need feel that, you know?
Exactly.
It's very important. How do you all go about accomplishing your mission? Because this is a big mission to help these families who are impoverished, who are, you know, in a place where they would hope to never have to be facing,
Yes.
I'm sure.
We use a holistic approach. We try to stabilize the family first through emergency services. Then we offer adult education classes for the adults to further themselves. We also have children's services that Jerry's in charge of.
It's always difficult when we think of families who are suffering from poverty, especially when we think about the kids involved.
Yes.
You know, and everything that they miss out on. What are the services that are provided for children, and what are some needs that people don't stop to consider when they hear that somebody is really struggling financially?
It's interesting because the Wilkinson Center was actually started because the pastor of Munger Place Church wanted to start a program for childhood poverty and childhood hunger. He saw a young child reaching into the garbage near the church for food. So that's kind of how we began. But as far as children, we offer after-school services in 7 locations in East Dallas and Southeast Dallas, Pleasant Grove. We offer summer programming for kids who are out of school in the summer. And we also offer a range of activities from backpack giveaways to back-to-school drives. So we definitely try to do what we can.
That's wonderful. And those kids, I'm sure that makes such a world of difference in their lives to have that support and help. What feedback do you get from these families whenever you're able to help their children this way?
Oh, the feedback is great. I mean, our satisfaction rates are almost at 100% just because parents are thankful of our services. They're free of charge. All that it requires is that a child be under that poverty level or a free or reduced lunch child, and those parents really get to have our services. But the Wilkinson Center shows that we really care about these people and treat them with respect, regardless of who you are, where do you come from. So it's very important.
That's very important, absolutely. And of course, the parents are working really hard themselves, and you're talking about, Steve was talking about the vocational services that are provided. What are some of the success stories, or what's some of the feedback that you've gotten back from some of the adults who are now able to, you know, maybe provide that backpack that they weren't able to provide before for their children?
We hear back that that one little moment helped them to take the next step forward. They were able to keep moving ahead and overcoming the barriers that they have.
Definitely. Now, of course, a lot of the people that come in, how close are they to maybe homelessness?
Very close. 1 month, or they're even got the eviction notice at the moment in their hand.
At what point do you encourage families to come in and talk with you about your services, or to reach out to any of the community organizations that are available?
We are constantly reaching out. Most of the people that come in are actually word of mouth. Their neighbor has come to us and they've come back and said the Wilkinson Center is there, they're helping, and they come if they need help too.
So that's your biggest way to communicate your existence,
Exactly.
is just word of mouth.
It goes from one neighbor to another.
To the other. And it's good to know that in the community, when somebody is struggling, that they
Yes.
have somewhere to go and to reach out. How do you assess each individual, and how do they know if they qualify for assistance?
Okay, for the food pantry, we simply ask that they have proof of residency, like a current utility bill. We ask for photo IDs for the grown-ups and for the children, birth certificates. And then they come into the pantry and they meet with a case manager the first day. Every 6 months, they'll meet with that case manager again to assess where they are. We try to find their barriers and try to help them to find a way to get over that barrier and to keep moving forward.
What are some common barriers?
We have barriers of generational poverty. We have barriers of people that have had problems with felonies and other legal issues. We have some people that have disabilities, people that everything you can think of.
I'm sure. Now, do most folks that come in have children?
Yes.
Okay.
For the most part, I would say about 80% of the
80%.
people have children. We're lucky that we get to serve everyone. One of the first things I learned at the Wilkinson Center when I began there was that even if we don't have the services, the Wilkinson Center will never turn anyone away. We'll refer them to some other services. So that's a wonderful thing.
So you are working with other community organizations?
Oh, we are. We definitely partner with other organizations. The Wilkinson Center just started a project at one school with Big Thought, who is another after-school provider in Dallas. We work with the Dallas Opera. We work with a lot of different organizations to help our families.
So the families are getting a holistic approach type of service
Definitely.
here. So the children are taken care of, the parents are taken care of, job services are available,
Yes.
you're feeding their families, you're
Right.
helping them find whatever need needs to be met,
Yes.
to be met, so that they don't end up homeless in the
That's
long
exactly
run.
right.
That's
If
good
we
to
don't
know.
have the resource that in our organization, then we refer to other organizations.
And our motto is Pathways Out of Poverty.
Pathways.
So,
Pathways out of poverty. And I love how you add in there with dignity and respect.
yes.
Talking about dignity and respect, when someone has to come in, I'm going to assume, obviously, for me, it would be very humbling to have to reach out and say,
Very.
I'm at a point in my life where I can't provide for my family. I don't know what to do. What are some of the first steps? What are some of the things that you can say to somebody who is out there today who needs to make that phone call?
I think that what we do is when the person comes in or when they call, we immediately say, how can we help you? We try to get to know the person first.
So it's about relationship
It's about
first, building that
relationships.
trust.
Yes.
And of course, they have their children with them. And I know me, I'm a very protective mama. So, making sure that their children are safe. How do you go about reassuring them that their children are going to be in good hands and well taken care of? How do you go about introducing the programs to them that are available for their children?
Well, most of our programs are introduced throughout the schools. We are in 6 Dallas ISD schools
Okay.
and 1 church/community center that serves 10 different schools.
Wow.
So first we do it by talking about our program, talking about the families that are in our program already. And then we start talking about the meat of our program. We talk about our site managers who run each one of our sites, talk about the credentials that they have, the fact that we're working with Dallas After School Network to build program quality, the fact that we're working with the Dallas ISD to build program stability. So we just reassure families and tell them that they can come anytime they want to participate in our program as well.
That's wonderful. What are some common fears that you hear from parents or from children?
From parents, the common fear is that they won't be able to provide the needs for their family.
Yeah,
That'd be the common thread.
the common thread.
And from children, I believe it's just that, they want some stability. Some of the barriers in children's services are, number one, just that time. A lot of the moms are working jobs, so they don't have time to do homework with their kids, so they want more time with their parents. Number two is the language barrier.
Okay.
80% of our children come from homes where Spanish is the only language spoken. So, of course, they're in schools where English is the language. So, language is sometimes a barrier, and we do our best to help that. We have a lot of bilingual staff. 3 is really just that educational barrier. A lot of our parents are still seeking some educational attainment, so we refer them to our programs. We also have an adult education program at the Wilkinson Center, and we do our best to refer some of those parents to our programs.
That's fantastic. And you hear about kids, obviously, if they're in a situation where, mom and dad's working the hardest they can and they don't have a lot of the security that a lot of kids who mom and dad can be home with them,
Yes.
have. How have you seen this kind of build their security and build their confidence to have somebody help them when they actually get the services that they need?
Oh, it's been wonderful, and that's one thing I definitely tell my staff all the time is that, you know, these children really rely on you every day. You are one of the stable actual adults in their life. They look for you for a smile or even a hug. We give them a healthy snack every day, so those children really appreciate that. So just being a stable force in a child's life can change them, you know, drastically. And we also provide daily homework assistance for these children. Sometimes they don't have the opportunity to do their homework at home, so we do that every day.
And you hear that they don't have the opportunity to do their work at home, and so many of us take that for granted. You know that
Yes.
that you know you get to be home with your kids, or you're there when they come home, and
Right.
make sure that they're doing their schoolwork, you know, at the table before they go
Exactly.
play their video game. But these kids don't have anybody to do that for them. So the fact that you all are available to help them in these situations and to work through the schools is such a wonderful outreach. You know,
Definitely.
anybody that helps out our kids, you know, we give them a big applause because our kids are precious. They're our future.
They are.
You know, so that's wonderful. For the age range, obviously it's going to depend on how old they are, where
Yes.
they are in schools, what their needs are. What is the age range that you normally see? What's the large number?
Well, we serve kindergarten through 5th grade, and that's usually 5 years old to about 13.
Okay.
So those are the children we serve, although in the summer we serve much more than that. Sometimes we serve 4-year-olds and sometimes 16-year-olds. So we really kind of do a case-by-case basis in the summer just because we want to serve as many families as we can. Some of those have, you know, those children have sisters or brothers who, you know, would love to be in our program, but maybe too young or too old, and we try to do our best to include them as well.
That's wonderful. Now, obviously, with the seasons, you know, changing, we think about the summertime is going to be
Yes.
different than school hours. Their needs are going to be different. The parents' needs might be different.
Yes.
What does that look like from season to season for the adults and for the children?
For the adults, it stays pretty much the same.
Okay.
For the children, it changes.
Yes. In the fall, in the spring, we offer after-school programming. So that's 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. But in the summer, we have to, you know, stretch out that time. So we offer summer programming in June and July from 3 to 6, 4 weeks each, and we give them a breakfast and a lunch. We provide them with structured activities based on STEM activities, so it's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to really enrich them during the summer.
That's fantastic. You all provide such a wide range of services, and as you mentioned before, that you all do reach out to other community services as well for support when needed. And here at Joy in Our Town, we're just really grateful for you all coming to talk with us and for sharing what you're doing to help the community and to get the word out there, you know, that you are there and you are available. So hopefully anybody watching today can contact you at your website, which is thewilkinsoncenter.org, if they have
That's
more
great, yes.
questions. Thank you again for coming, and thank you for what you're doing for our community.
Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you all today for watching Joy in Our Town.